So recently, a bunch of people have now started to comment regarding the new update, and it has been received quite negatively by some users. Now, yes, I'm not saying that all of the comments are actually negative, and I very much agree that this update was in somewhat a good light. So I will just give you a quick disclaimer before you start commenting inside my comment section. Then, of course, I would like to remind you first that this will be about community and their own criticism. Like, for example, this user right here, Divine Soul, saying, I can tell bro is gonna make another hate video about tomorrow's update or the day after. Well, not really. It's more of highlighting community criticism, like what Beyond Alpha has said. So just keep that in mind. And of course, if you are triggered by criticism or you can't take it well, I would recommend on you just swapping out of this video. Anyways, now let's get into the video and let's first talk about this new update, as I did find it enjoyable. However, users who play the game have some other things to say. Now in this first person, which is going to be Lunala Eclipse, Jandal, week after week I joined the game at 1 a.m. in the morning to see what you have to say and wait for the new update, but I always leave in such disappointment and dissatisfaction. Seriously, reskinning pet after pet, at this point Grow a Garden might just die soon. Why not take more time to focus on quality of updates rather than the frequency of updates? I'm sure people can agree that we'd rather have updates that are of higher quality and put effort but less frequently every fortnight or so. This is better than having bad updates every week, and take your time to work on and release updates that will give the community satisfaction but less frequently rather than updates that happen more frequently but makes the community unsatisfied. This was posted yesterday around 10 hours after the update, and this is something that I do want to talk about, as the community says that this or maybe this person feels dissatisfied regarding this new update. Now, if you don't know what this update has actually in store, it added a pity system and different things inside the shop. However, this person feels that this update is just another reskin, which in my opinion is kind of true, as of course this is just basically a same reskin as we had from before, where you would have to submit a certain fruit in order to basically get rewards. Now, I don't know how they could possibly rework something like this in order to be something new. However, Lunala Eclipse feels that this update was rather just a copy-paste of code again, and of course it is nothing new, which is somewhat true, as of course the main feature that most of the players are happy about during this update was the pity system, and of course different other features that do not focus on the event itself. However, just keep in mind that when I say these things, that Jandal has said as well inside the announcements channel of Grow a Garden that he will actually be focusing on more on the depth into player farms and of course different features inside Grow a Garden rather than the events we have. But hopefully in the next few updates, or maybe in the next update, these users will be satisfied, as of course these updates will become less and less repetitive as they add more of these different features inside the game. Now let's move on to the next event or the next message by GZX. I changed the event, and this event is boring and bad, and the rewards are bad, and the only good thing is that new pet. Now, if you don't know what the new pet he's actually going to be talking about, it is going to be this lobster right here. You can get it for a 1% chance, and of course its pity is 750 for a rainbow lobster. It is also obtainable as a regular version for every 100 chests, which is very nice as well. Now, if you don't know what the lobster Thermidor does, it has this passive ability called Molten Boiling Point, and every 300 to 900 seconds, which is 5 minutes to 15 minutes, it has a 20% chance or more to have a nearby fruit become molten. It has Meteoric Boiling Point as well, which every 500 to 1800 seconds, which is 8 minutes and 30 minutes, to have a 10% chance or more to have a fruit become meteoric. Now these two mutations are actually very overpowered. Now I don't have molten on my main bone blossom, but if you can see right here, I do have meteoric, and it actually spiked up the price of my bone blossom to around 100 billion. This is very worth it, and in my opinion, this meteoric mutation is very good as well inside Grow a Garden. Now people are saying, like for example GZX, that this Thermidor is the only pet that is worth getting inside this whole update, as this also includes Crispy's Kitchen, which we already know a bunch of players are already underwhelmed regarding these gourmet eggs, and especially with the French fry ferret being completely useless unless you have a level 50 plus pet. Now actually, if you go back to the connoisseur and of course look at the rewards, they say as well that all of the rewards from this event, such as the Gorilla Chef, the Sunny Side Chicken, and of course the gourmet egg pets and the other pets that were added inside the game like the Bacon Pig and Hot Dog Dachshund, are all very bad pets that are of course not really good for maybe free-to-play players. Now I'm not saying the Thermidor is now unobtainable by free-to-play players. In my opinion, now after the Zen update and after the Kitsune incident, they have made pets and very rare pets very easy to get, and in my opinion it's a very much good thing. But of course some users are still dissatisfied regarding this community. Now moving on to the next message, it's quite a long one by Eros. In this message he has around 4 points, and of course it goes well in depth regarding trading and of course trading inside the game. Remove the ability to trade pets, shekels, and fruits to other people to avoid real money trading, which is RMT. Better add all event eggs to the store so players will buy it and with shekels and hatch it, as it also includes all the coming up events. Make the event eggs much more expensive, especially with the older event eggs. And having a quadrillion shekels inside the game is quite useless, by the way. Nothing to spend with shekels anymore, and people are aiming for trading, especially selling pets and fruits for real money. Make the game more balanced, especially when a new event releases. Now we have here 4 points, but I would like to first tackle his take regarding trading in general. Now if you don't know, trading has been a feature ever since they added it in last week's update, and of course now we have a recent upsurge regarding different trading and of course real money trading inside the game. This is not allowed by Roblox TOS itself, and of course it is also bannable by Grow a Garden themselves. However, if we look inside, for example, eBay, you will be able to see different people selling Grow a Garden in-game items, and especially with the upsurge of trading in itself and of course gifting in general. Even though trading was added, of course gifting was still a thing, and it's how these real money sellers are actually being able to sell pets for real life money. This is not even allowed by Roblox, and in general it's something that the community also has an issue with, as of course it causes a huge amount of inflation, and not only that, it also causes a huge rift between people who actually buy from those third-party websites and of course for those who pay to win inside the game already. Now this user suggests that they have to remove trading in general, but of course I agree that some of you might not agree as well with his statement regarding this whole issue. In my opinion, real money trading is not something that Go a Garden can prevent, and of course the users of the game will not even worry about real money trading and would rather have trading inside the game, as of course it is accessible for free-to-play players. But in my opinion, I would also like you guys to comment what your take about this is, and just leave the timestamp of this generally, and of course I might try to read them and understand your own takes regarding this issue. Now continuing his statements, it is this game should be relaxing and not stressful. We need to fight against scammers and of course those who do items. Every day the game is so fast paced and it's getting boring from time to time. I know Jandal and his team are burns for new releases and ideas plus dealing with other bad things. Stop the trading and gifting so it will not affect other person's progress, and this game should become a solo progress game. Like before, add a marketplace and where people can sell pets and buy it with shekels, and this way we can avoid dupes and scammers. Also, players that have an ability to add the price for the pet as well to sell. For example, I want to actually sell my kitsune for 50 quadrillion or something like that. Plus, add some leaderboard, and please support my suggestion as this is the only way to stop dupes, scammers, and RMT. Now, this statement is quite controversial as of course not everyone wants to feel disconnected from the community. And again, I asked you to actually comment your take regarding this whole issue. Now, this has been an issue inside Grow a Garden for a very long time, and I actually found for the first time a person actually talking about it inside the Discord server. Now, regarding real money trading, in my opinion, it's just gonna be there for the whole of time. And of course, it's not only an issue for Roblox in general, it's also an issue for every other game that exists with an account. This can happen, for example, for Clash Royale or for games such as, I don't know, Rise of Kingdoms or any Roblox or maybe any mobile game or any PC game. Then, of course, there will also be some sort of real money trading. Now, is trading a possible cause of this? Then definitely yes. If they disabled in some way trading, then of course there would be much less of this. However, in my opinion, it's really unpredictable and you can't really prevent such. Anyways, now let's move on to the next message by Ethan, and he says right here that we are all tired of waiting 7 days for a Jandal to admin abuse so your plans can get insane amount of mutations. So why don't there be a vote every 1 hour so that people in the server or globally can't vote for the weather event? This change will make sure that you are not bored waiting for crazy mutations on your plan every single week. Please bump this as I would think it would make the players more excited when they see a cool event. Now, as for Ethan, he thinks that the admin abuse should actually become a server-wide thing every single hour. Now, I do want to talk about admin abuse in a separate video as people actually wanted to talk about this and of course their suggestions regarding the future of admin abuse events, as some users are actually dissatisfied regarding the admin abuse and how it is actually structured to be a one-time event. Now, this user is actually one of those key points that they should actually do admin abuse events every single hour, and in my opinion that is somewhat helpful. However, it also worries me that this will also affect the hype of the game. Grow a Garden is built on hype, and of course this is how they reach up to 20 million players to 21 million players depending on where they actually are for every single update. This is also how Steal a Brainrot actually beat Grow a Garden in terms of concurrent players at a certain point during their update, and I find that very surprising, and I will talk about that in a separate video as of course Steal a Brainrot right now is actually getting a ton of players, and that's actually because of course their own admin abuse events and of course their own community as well. Now, speaking of Steal a Brainrot, if you guys are actually still watching at this point of the video, I would like you to check out this poll that I have inside my community tabs. I have been thinking for a while that I maybe should expand to different communities as well, and of course talk about some issues that the community wants to be raised, such as for example Steal a Brainrot. So if you would like to vote yes or no, then just go there later. Anyways, that's just a quick ad break, and of course let's go back to this message, as of course Ethan recommends that every 1 hour it would happen as a vote in a server or globally. Now, the main reason why I think users would like this to have inside Grow a Garden is actually so that they can get the missing mutations that they have for their own fruits. There are a ton of fruits inside Grow a Garden, and of course they also want a ton of mutations to get trillions inside Grow a Garden. I myself am losing a lot of mutations inside my Bone Blossom, which is my main source of course getting any shekels inside Grow a Garden. However, users are now saying that maybe admin abuse events should be a voted thing, as of course this will also help other users to get different mutations. But in my opinion, as of course they add this inside the game, then it might actually die down the hype that of course Grow a Garden has been building ever since its release. So of course this is another controversial take that in my opinion might not be in agreement with some users as well. Now, in this user by Dog is that the trading update was bad, and the reason for that is you can't trade sprinklers or any other items, and you can't even trade seeds. Now, in my next video, I will be talking about seed trading as this is also another issue, but of course, let's continue this statement as let's talk about first trading sprinklers or any other items. Now, if you don't know, inside the game, you cannot anymore trade. You can only trade using trading tickets, of course, pets, and among other things as well. However, when you trade pets with these trading tickets, a bunch of users are dissatisfied as of course they also want to trade gear, like for example Grandmaster sprinklers, which are very valuable as well as a gear for grow a garden, as of course it makes your fruits much larger. This is something that is well sought after by a bunch of community members and maybe just even casual players inside the game. Now people are starting to say that they should allow gear trading, as of course it would also help them get the rarest items inside the game and of course larger fruits to make more trillions of shekels. However, I would also like to talk about seed trading, as of course this is a very controversial topic, and I would like to talk about this because if we allow seed trading, some users basically say that seed trading will destroy the game, and some users say that seed trading will actually be very good in establishing a good economy, as of course the economy regarding shekels is very bad already inside grow a garden. So I would like to talk about this, and of course seed trading is something that not a lot of players like, because when you add seed trading, then of course the most valuable plants inside grow a garden are going to be bone blossoms for future events, as of course bone blossoms are required in almost every single recipe for this event, and they could also do that as well for future updates. Not only that, but candy blossoms will also be one of the most valuable things inside grow a garden, as of course it is still very good despite it being very old already. It can compare to maybe bone blossoms as well that are not really as much as largely sized, and of course that's still very worrying, as of course it could also still destroy the game like what happened to Pet Sim 99 or Bubblegum Simulator Infinity. But I digress because these are simulator games and grow a garden might take a different path and it will be much beneficial for their game. However, now that users are actually starting to speak out regarding this, they recommend that maybe they should add seed trading, even of course as a trial, because trials are not bad inside grow a garden and that would be very nice as well. So what do you think, guys? Will you guys actually be fine with adding seed trading? Who knows, and hopefully we can only see their announcements or of course response to regarding these statements in the future updates. Now in this statement by Yui is that he says that delete this update. This update is so bad and so long to do everything, and people don't have time to know life this game as it takes too long and it gets too boring. Now I would like to talk about this, and especially with the nerfs regarding cooking time, people still think, like Yui for example, that this wait time is still very long. Now in my opinion, I still agree with these statements, as of course it is still unnecessary to have a very long cooldown regarding all of these things. And of course having cooldowns inside the game is something that the community does not already want. Like for example, it takes a very long time just to actually wait to restock different things inside the game, like the gear shop and of course like the cosmetic shop, that users are actually starting to very much speak about that these cosmetics should never have a restock timer. Restock timers are, in my opinion, just valid because it's what built the game. However, for events, users actually want this event to have no timers, as of course they can just grind it out at their own time. And of course not only that, as these timers are actually quite long and sometimes it would take you 30 minutes in order to cook a single meal, and of course not a lot of players are happy about that as it takes a very long time as well. Not everyone, like Yui for example, has a whole day to spend inside grow a garden, and of course other users as well who spoke about this issue. But what about you guys? Are you struggling about these time issues, and is this much okay for you? And of course, is Yui just the one experiencing that? Anyways, let's move on to Grime 25, and that here's my suggestion, and I hope it gets taken seriously by someone important. Jandal says he's struggling with updates, and I have great ideas for updates, and please everyone in here, let's make it happen. I'm a new player and there's so many eggs, seeds, and cosmetics that I missed because I didn't know this game existed. My update idea is Blast from the Past, where 2 to 3 times a year they rerun an old update to allow us to maybe get some of the old stuff that we all want so bad and to experience the fun and cool stuff that we never had to experience. Now this user now feels like the updates of the game have become too overwhelming, and of course not only that, newer players are also feeling threatened, like for example this new update. In Grimes' message, I actually want to talk about regarding this whole issue regarding Bone Blossoms, because this is a prime example of why he is making a message. And if you don't know, to make prismatic meals inside the game, you would actually require a bunch of Bone Blossoms in order to get those prismatic meals. Sometimes it is very hard as well, as there are only 2 meals that only require no Bone Blossoms to get prismatic meals. So just keep that in mind, as I am saying prismatic meals, not mythical, not legendary, I mean prismatic meals. Some users still differentiate that, oh, if you cook a mythical meal, then of course you will get prismatic rewards. That's not true. And of course, not everyone has access to Bone Blossoms like this person. Now, in my opinion, Blast from the Past will be very much a bad idea, as we've already had this during the summer harvest and not a lot of people were very happy about that. However, in my opinion, what if times change, as of course now that we are requiring limited time seeds in order to cook up different things that are inside this update, like for example the prismatic meals that we need in order for Crispy's kitchen, or maybe for submitting it to the connoisseur. These things are something that worries the community, and maybe if they plan to do this in the future, then of course they should actually add a Blast from the Past. However, if in the future update or in the next update, if it will be a completely different event, then of course they should just make Bone Blossoms or make Transcendent or Prismatic Limiteds not be allowed for these events, and should just stick into the seeds that are currently inside the seed shop, for example, or those you can obtain from the chests or the seed packs that are still obtainable during that update. Anyways guys, that's basically what the community has been saying for the past 2 days regarding this whole update, and of course their own issues and recommendations as well. What do you guys think about all of their takes? And of course, if you were to like and subscribe again, that would be greatly much appreciated.